Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another broadcast. Today I wanted to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man number 24, or more specifically, the Clone Conspiracy Addendum that's not really the addendum because Clone Conspiracy Omega fulfills that role. And oh yeah, Peter Parker is literally in 1.5 panels. Don't believe me? Here, I'll show you. Here it is. Whoops, did you miss it? Too bad, it's gone in an issue of The Amazing Spider-Man because we needed to get to Dr. Octopus and set the stage for Ben Reilly's new series. Okay, for those who didn't check out my Clone Conspiracy finale, but not really finale review, I'll link to it below so you can check that out, because this issue just fills in the what the heck happened to Jackal and Doc Ock questions that left readers scratching their heads. Long story short, after Spider-Man used his Parker Industry tech to broadcast the inverse frequency to stabilize those suffering from the carry-on virus, Otto crushes Ben's webware. Ben heads to the protoclone, which is booby-trapped because Otto is the man and he's always able to one-up anyone with Parker DNA. Ben wakes up and Otto is long gone, but he still has some of his pills and uses them to keep himself alive. Ben decides to go to a safe house that looks like Peter's childhood home, only to find the real Jackal, Miles Warren, inside. The real Jackal did not disintegrate during the whole ordeal started by Otto and wants revenge. The Jackal lights a bunch of pills on fire, and the two fight as the home is engulfed in flames. Ben says, "I'm done with you, with this fake Parker past in my head, with all of this," and takes out a support beam. The whole house comes crumbling down, and when firefighters realize there's a man inside, Ben sends them flying with a massive uppercut. "Anyone else want to be a hero?" he asks. "Smart. I've seen what that gets you," he says when they don't move. Ben takes off into the night and says, "Who am I going to be now?" Okay, there's not much to be said about Clone Conspiracy that I haven't already mentioned in my previous video and that Mike McNulty didn't cover over at Whatever a Spider Can. Given that, I'll address long-time readers of The Amazing Spider-Man and ask how it feels to buy an issue of ASM that treats Peter Parker as an afterthought in his own book. How sad is it to know that the 1.5 panels that include Peter Parker was probably the result of Nick Lowe waking from his slumber and saying to Dan Slott, "Oh, wait, what? You want to have an issue of ASM without any Peter Parker in it? Dude, can you give me 2 panels at least?" Oh, okay, fine, 1.5, and pick me up some Starbucks the next time you make a coffee run. With that being said, the artwork by Giuseppe Camicoli is actually pretty good. The fight scene between Doc Ock and Jackal has some seriously great shots, and you could see the madness in Ben's eyes. And even the fight between Ben and Jackal crackles with energy. It's just sad and pathetic that all of this comes at the expense of the book's freaking protagonist, Peter Parker. Imagine yourself as the scribe of The Amazing Spider-Man. Wouldn't it make sense to organize the telling of the tale so that you get all of the pertinent information in while simultaneously making sure that Peter Parker never loses the limelight in his own book? Of course, but Dan Slott and Nick Lowe and everyone involved with this book seems to think so little of Peter Parker that they're okay with giving him 1.5 panels, 2 if you're generous. That takes some serious gall to do to longtime fans. I mean, it would be almost as bad as killing Tony Stark, replacing him with a young protege, and then continuing to call the book Iron Man even though it's not about him at all, just to shamelessly try and sucker completists into coughing up cash. Oh, wait, never mind. Anyway, if you want to see some cool artwork involving some foes of Spider-Man, then check out ASM number 24. If you want to read the addendum that's really a fake-out addendum because Clone Conspiracy Omega number 1 will be out soon, then buy it. If, however, you think of Peter Parker as the Amazing Spider-Man's literary support beam, kind of like the one Ben pulled down, that keeps the whole thing from imploding upon itself in a mountain of rubble, then stay away. Writer Dan Slott is almost rubbing it in fans' faces at this point that he loves writing villains more than he likes Peter Parker. And editor Nick Lowe is rubbing it in fans' faces that he can greenlight an issue of ASM where Peter Parker appears in 1.5 panels and still get paid. If you work retail, try telling your boss that you'll see 1.5 customers during the day and see how long that lasts. But I digress. That's about it for now, but as always, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Sound off on all things The Amazing Spider-Man related, and as always, if you like what you've seen here, then head on over to douglasernst.blog for more coverage just like this. See you next time.